Yo, what's good? It's the Cozy King. No, I ain't posting nothing in a minute. Actually, I did, but the video I posted never uploaded. So, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you that video now. Cozy talk. Everything that is just purely opinion. I'm here for any opinions, any talk. I'm not biased to anything. Like I said, it's just my opinion on my perspective on things that I've seen in sports, life, all sorts of stuff, so forth. So shit, even cartoons. I'm gonna talk about Marvel, all that. But as of right now, today, I want to get into an all-time great player, Shaquille O'Neal. And this is what my previous video was about, but it didn't upload, like I said. But let's get into it. So, I'm not gonna front. Shaq is a great player. Like, I'm not trying to discredit him. I'm not trying to take nothing away from him. I'm not trying to say like he's a bum. None of that. He's a great player. One of the greatest we ever seen. One of the best big men we ever seen. All factual. But I think he's not overrated. I don't want to use that terminology because he's not overrated. So I don't want to use that word per se. But I feel like he's bigged up more, I guess, for like when people think of him like, oh, he broke backboards and he broke the basket and shit like that. Like, I get it, but like, it's more to it. You get what I'm saying? Like, and this is what I'm saying. So, boom, okay. So, he gets drafted by Orlando. It's a fact. They double their wins in the first season he's there. Maybe even triple. And let's be clear, guys, if I get any information wrong, because I ain't no script, it's just me speaking what I recollect. And maybe I forget some things, I don't know, but just let me know in the comments if anything where I got it wrong or the timing was wrong, and just let me know. But so he gets to Orlando, they double the wins. It's a fact. But at the same time, they started, some pieces was there before he got there, and then they got more pieces, with the most significant piece being Penny Hardaway. So when he gets Penny, instantly Penny dynamic from the beginning. Let's be clear, Penny's fucking dynamic from the beginning. So he didn't have to wait for him to catch up. He got in, and once he started, it was over. It was fucking curtains. Okay. So eventually they make it to the NBA Finals. They go play the Houston Rockets. Houston Rockets, led by Hakeem Olajuwon, which is for me is the best center I ever seen. That's, once again, this is my personal opinion. Agree, disagree, but my favorite center of all time is Hakeem Olajuwon. And I feel that the Houston Rockets was not as good as the Orlando Magic. I heard Kenny Smith say this before, and I agree. The Orlando Magic was the better team. What are we talking about? Nobody wants to talk about it. Let's talk about it. The Orlando Magic was the better team, player for player. On that Houston Rockets team, okay? He didn't have help. He didn't. They should have beat the Houston Rockets. Point blank. Let me not say they didn't have nobody. They did get Clyde Drexler. They did get Clyde that season. That was the season they got Clyde. I forgot. Let me not leave that out. He did have Clyde. But this ain't prime Clyde. Let's be clear. But school. But he did have Clyde. That was the season before where he didn't really have no help with the first championship. So I don't want to get it blended. But still, all in all, the Orlando Magic was still the better team. I'm a die on that hill. That's a fact to me. Okay. They don't get it done. They come back next season, still nasty, still dynamic. They get to Eastern Conference Finals, and they lose to Mike and them. Mike dust them off 4 games straight, sweep them boys. Okay. So, again, to me, they should have beat the Houston Rockets. Right? Okay, they get back to the Eastern Conference, then they get swept again. No way they should have got swept in the finals with Houston. I don't care. You want to blame Nick Anderson, whatever. It ain't Nick Anderson. That was game 1. He had that problem with the free throws. It was 3 other games. It was other games. We're not going to throw that on Nick. We're not going to do that. That's 1. 2, they shouldn't have got swept by Mike and them neither. I don't know. But whatever. They got swept. That's the year Jordan and them won 72-10. Understand they was dynamic that season. But still, you got Shaq and you got Penny Hardaway. Okay. But mind you, let's be clear. He had a dynamic player on his side in Penny Hardaway. Dynamic. Like, let's be clear. Penny was dynamic from the time he got there and he started. It was over. It was the Penny show. To me, Shaq left because when he saw his Penny star rising, he got a little jealous. Something that's a reoccurring thing to me in his career. And I don't know about jealous per se, but sometimes I don't know if he understands how to kind of relinquish some of the power. I don't know. Because with Penny, that's a great talent. Alright, but you leave. Mind you, you leave this talented Phil Orlando Magic team. This pre-injury to Penny. You said you out of there for LA, which is my squad. You know what I'm saying? I'm not mad at that. Came to LA. Okay. We ain't had no pieces or nothing like that. We wasn't really, you know what I'm saying? We did have Nick Van Exel. We had Eddie Jones. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, Kobe was a rookie. He ain't really get that much burn. You know? Boom. He ain't come right to LA and win no titles. He didn't. He didn't. You know when he started winning them titles? And I want to put this out there too. When I was younger, when I was a kid, I was upset that we got rid of Eddie Jones. I was. But when Eddie Jones left, when we traded Eddie, and Kobe was inserted into the starting lineup, that's when we started winning chips in LA. And I know they like to say, yo, you know, Shaq was carry Kobe. Listen, y'all gotta understand something. That was not your, what you call a sidekick. Okay? What Scottie Pippen was a sidekick. Okay? And no slight to Scottie. Scottie, you did your thing. You was a great player. It's not disrespect. But what Kobe was compared to what Scottie wasn't putting up the numbers Kobe was playing the quote-unquote Robin role. Scottie wasn't putting up them numbers. And let's be clear. Scottie wasn't averaging 20, over 20 points a game with Mike there. Even though he should have, but he wasn't. 16, 17, 19, 20, 19, shit like that. I mean, not trying to shit on him, but I don't know how many seasons he averaged 20 with Mike there. Kobe was averaging that. Then when he gets to the playoffs, his averages go up. Scottie was still scoring the same shit he was scoring in the regular season. He was scoring in the play. Mike was sick dying, and Scottie only had like 17 points that game, 15 points. Mike dying, he got 40, 39. What are we talking about? But that's neither here nor there. Let's get back to the topic at hand. So, Shaq, you know, he won MVP, dominant, whatever. But Kobe wasn't your average sidekick. And I'm only using the term sidekick because that's what people like to, you know, quote unquote call him. But I don't view him as, like I said, we're going to use that word. I don't view him as a typical sidekick. Because a typical sidekick ain't going out there and giving you them numbers that he giving you. And ain't no typical sidekick when you go down, you get fouled out, or this and that and the third, is going to carry the team like he did. Like, let's be clear. They morphed into a great situation. We went to the finals 4 times. 4. Won 3 of them things. You get what I'm saying? And it's not all, it wasn't all Shaq. Kobe was very vital to them titles. So that's team number 2. He got another dynamic player beside him. And I'm not trying to say he got to do it alone. But sometimes when you hear him talk, he acts like he did it alone. Like, or he tries to, like, I'm the big brother. Yeah, but sometimes being a big brother also is knowing when what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. Like, if you see this kid coming up to be who he is, why you couldn't understand, like, all right, I can still dominate and do my thing because they can't stop me on the low block. But I got to let this young man flourish too. There's no reason why Phil should have been having this young man have to pull his reins back because he don't want to crush your feelings and hurt your feelings. That shouldn't even matter. It's about winning. That's what it's about. Come on now. Boom. Lakers tell you take a pay cut. Go to Miami. First year y'all make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Okay, you got a point to prove. Understandable. But y'all ain't look good when y'all got there. Next season, y'all make it to the finals. So they had to tell you, like, yo, son, let the young boy cook. Now, it's easier. I know it's easier said than done to when you got a big ego and you the man, you always been the man. I understand that. But it's a reoccurring theme. Because it's like whenever these dudes start elevating themselves, you don't want to realize and looking within yourself like these kids is really balling for real. And instead of you looking like, because for me, and I'm not Shaq, I don't live shit, and shit is done already. I'm not leaving Orlando with a ready-made team to go run to LA, and they ain't got the pieces that I already got where I'm at, and I just made it to the finals and the Eastern Conference Finals. No, because when you came to LA with us, you got swept by Oster tagging them. We got swept by the Jazz. One of them seasons where the Jazz played the Bulls in the finals, they swept us. That's a fact. Shaq was there. What are we talking about? Now, it's a team sport, of course. But I've seen shit done with less. A la Houston Rockets when they went and played the Knicks in the finals. And no way. I tell people all the time, I seen 2 people in my lifetime drag mediocre teams to the finals. It's the year when AI won the MVP, Philadelphia 76ers, and the Houston Rockets when they played the Knicks, which I believe is 94, when they played them in the finals against the Knicks. Rolled up. And they shouldn't even have won that. Shaq was always surrounded by talent. Significant talent. That's a fact. And I ain't even talking about the rest of his career. I'm talking about the 3 years, the 3 teams. Orlando, LA, and Miami. He had teams around him. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that he should have to play on ass teams. And that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying he shouldn't have dynamic players on his squad. I'm not saying that. But what I'm trying to say is we got to recognize, like, as dominant and terrific as he was, will he be the same if Kobe didn't get to that level? Would Orlando have flourished the way they flourished if Penny ain't come on the scene and did what he did? Would Miami look the way they looked and did what they did if they didn't have a young D Wade? Those are my questions. And those are the things I want to know. Because as good as he was, I don't know if he could have. He stayed with talent. And like I said, it's not a bad thing. But when you hear Shaq talk sometimes, it's just like, it was just him. Like, oh, yeah, that's little bro. Like, Kobe was just as good. And that's why I say, I can't call Kobe a sidekick. Like, I really can't. Like, I really can't. Like, when I think of sidekick, besides Scottie Pippen, okay. Juwan Howard with Chris Webber over there in Washington. Okay. Give me. I'm trying. It's just slipped my mind. I don't know. It just slipped my mind. But definitely, Scotty's one. Oh, Pat Ewing was the man. His sidekick was John Starks. That was the sidekick. Because he can produce, but he's not producing like the main guy. You understand what I'm saying? Like it was Clyde in Portland. Terry Porter was his sidekick. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and it's not. I'm not trying to diminish other players. I'm not diminishing other players. These players are dynamic. First of all, I never played at an NBA level. I'm not nowhere near on the level of any NBA player. Never have, never will. Okay, I just played basketball on the streets. That was it. I never got recruited or none of that shit. I mean, I'm just telling you shit that I see with my own eyes. And Kobe Bryant ain't your regular sidekick. He's not a sidekick. It's like with the Justice League, when you got Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman. So none of them no sidekick. They all 1A, 1B maybe. And that's still, and I can't even say 1B. I still have to say 1A and 1A because Kobe was just as dynamic. He was just as dynamic. And he also had to pull the reins back. But he was just as dynamic. We gotta be honest. Shaq, you're a great player. I love you. You're a great player. Dominant player. You did your things. Like I said, the Orlando Shaq is my favorite Shaq. Like that, like, this is what I'm saying. But at the same time, I gotta keep it real. Shaq was always surrounded with a plethora of talent. And I believe he got mad every time when the guys who were brought there to be his quote-unquote sidekick, they rose to levels that is like, yo, I'm not a sidekick, B. So that's all I want to speak on with that, with the Shaq thing. You know, like I said, it's no slight on Shaq, but that's that. Okay, let's talk about something more current. You know, the Knicks just lost to Indiana Pacers. Let's be clear. I had the Knicks. Once we got to the Eastern Conference Finals and Western Conference Finals, my picks were the Knicks and OKC. Clearly I was wrong on the Eastern Conference. But I got the Western Conference right, but I want to touch on a bit on the Knicks. Shout out to the Knicks. Long time they ain't been where they was at, so shout out to them for that. You know, it felt good seeing the Knicks being there, even though I'm a Lakers fan. Mind you, I'm a Brooklyn dude, live in Jersey, you know, but tri-state. You know, my pop's a Knicks fan, so yeah. So you know, it was a good feel. You know, my pops was excited, you know, and like I said, I thought I picked them too to get to the once they got to that, I was like, yo, it's Knicks and OKC. So, but what I want to touch on with the Knicks is that they don't need to blow this up, son. They don't need to blow this up. What the Knicks need to do is build off what they got. You know, they don't need to go get Giannis. They don't need to go get KD, none of that wild shit. Stay with y'all got core-wise. Maybe tweak the bench and add a few players. You know what I'm saying? Better players to the bench. And it might be time to get rid of Tibbs. No, Tibbs took them to heights that they haven't been in a while. I understand, and I get it. I probably seen more Knicks games than Laker games. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always watching, even if I'm like, because that's what comes on in my region. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always going to catch a Knicks game. Sometimes I'm going to fall asleep on our games that come on at a later time. But why I brought that up is because I watch when the Knicks flourish. And when the Knicks flourish is when they have a deep squad. And not only a deep squad, but also knowing how to utilize the squad. Tibbs is definitely a good coach. I'm not taking nothing away from him. But Tibbs don't know how to. He likes to run his plays into the ground. We're going to just call it what it is. Okay? Tibbs will. Dudes shouldn't have been out there playing 40 something minutes. But when you check the box score, it was time that it was only 6 players that played, 7. And the only time, a lot of times it was 7, is when one of them was in foul trouble. No, I mean, yeah, foul trouble was going on. And if it wasn't no foul trouble, it might have been the whole starting 5 playing the whole game. I have a problem with that because one, you're doing that already in the regular season. Dudes is tired. They get to the playoffs, you're doing that still in the playoffs. They're extremely tired. Tibbs, you bugging, son. And you bugging because you need to utilize your bench. I'm not saying outright fire him. Nah, that's not what I'm saying. But I don't know where they go from here if they keep him, because we seen this same behavior from him everywhere he's been. In Chicago, Minnesota, and now here. It's the same formula. I'm going to run my starting five into the ground. The bench is barely going to play. And that's that. That's his formula. And I guess he thinks that works for him. But for me, it don't work. They bugging. They bugging because one thing for sure, two things for certain. The teams that are deep are the teams that win. A la OKC. They deep, son. They got mad players over there. They got mad players, and they deep. It's times I see some of the players that's not on the coach's decision not to play. I'm like, damn, they still got talent. They just ain't playing because they cutting the roster short. Because it's like, yo, they can mix and match. They can do whatever. That's what the Knicks need to do. They gotta utilize their bench, man. They gotta mix and match. You can't have too much of similar players. And I know they trying to put a lot of blame on Cat. Yes, Cat defense is suspect, but that ain't Cat, son. Cat gave y'all one of his best games of his life to get a win for the guys. So we not gonna do that. We can't throw all the blame on him. It's a lot on the coach. It is. It is. Yes, sometimes the star players didn't show up. I understand that. But it's still more so on the coach. Because when you got Josh Hart letting go of backdoor passes and backdoor cuts, plays, that's not something that he lets happen. He's tired. You know what I'm saying? I ain't making no excuse. Shout out to Indiana. I mean, first final since Reggie Miller and them boys played my Lakers in the finals. Shout out to Indiana. You know what I'm saying? That's a good look, because I'm definitely a fan of Halliburton. Liked him since Sacramento. Y'all bumped y'all head by letting him go. But we ain't gonna get into that. They bugging. Sacramento's bugging anyway. But yeah, man. Knicks, don't blow it up. Keep with your core together. Grab a few players for that bench. Some talented. Get some talented players for the bench. I mean, and work from that. I don't really want y'all to let go of Josh Hart or none of them. But if y'all do package it to get somebody, y'all don't need no crazy like Giannis or don't do that. Not even let Josh Hart go. Keep the core together, son. Run it back. Add some pieces and run it back. That's how I feel. You know, but also I want to touch on these finals. We jumping into everything. We all over the place, but we here. Jumping into these finals. Very interesting. Two young, talented stars. I ain't ready to call them superstars, but two young, talented stars. Halliburton and Shaq will be getting to showcase their talent on the highest stage. I got OKC winning it. Maybe, I believe in 6. I don't think the series goes 7. I believe in 6. I believe the depth, the defense is going to play a major role in deciding this series for OKC. Indiana's very talented. Don't get it twisted. But I just think with the depth that they have with OKC, like, You know, it's not like what they went through with the Knicks. You know, with the Knicks, one dude, Brunson, get in foul trouble, or Cat get in foul trouble, they might go down. With them, Shaq getting in foul trouble, I'm not saying that won't affect them, but they got other dudes that on that team that could give you 27 points a game with no problem. They got it. They have a lot of players on that team that can play defense. Dudes that's just balling, they balling out of their mind. This is a talented team. And I believe they might stay together for years. And if they do, this team is going to be somebody to reckon with for years to come. We just got to put that out there. I'm definitely happy for Indiana, though. You know, nobody, I don't care what nobody said. Maybe Indiana fans, but nobody's saying Indiana making it to the finals this year. If anybody said that, shout out to y'all, but I ain't hear nobody talk about that all season. Indiana making it to the finals. If y'all said it, shout out to y'all. But if people saying it, and I remember, the people I remember, they ain't nobody said that. And don't try to switch it up and say you didn't have, because you bugging. Indiana has a chance. I'm not saying there's a full-blown conclusion that, oh, they're going to get swept. Nah. It's definitely going to be 6 games. Could potentially be 7. I just got OKC winning it and pulling it out. And that's that on that. I mean, I don't want to take up too much of y'all time. 30 minutes. Gave y'all 3 topics. You know. I gotta be more consistent. Post more videos. You know, a lot be going on, but you know, I gotta be more consistent. You know, I keep giving y'all sports. I'm gonna try for the next video to be something else, not sports related. Maybe, you know, life related. We're gonna see. But y'all have a good night, man. Y'all be cozy out there. Cozy talk, man.